Hello everyone, welcome to my live stream. It's Monday, so that means it's time for Inktober52. And I am trying something different with my setup over here, my monitor. I have so many reference images that I want to use for this drawing today. And I was like, how am I going to have the chat showing and all my other things that I want to look at to make sure the stream is going good. But also look at these, I've got 4 different reference images. So hopefully this works out. But for Inktober52, for anybody who doesn't know, is a year-long version of the Inktober challenge. And so with this version, once a week, a prompt is sent out, and then you draw it with ink. Oh, Exie is here. Hello, Exie. How are you? Nice to see you. Wow, you are here so fast every day. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up and start expecting it or like put expectations on you, but I'm always really happy every time you're like, boom, right there, straight in there. And I'm so happy because you have helped me test. I've got the chat up through OBS right now instead of on my browser, and so it looks like it's working. Yay! Oh, Exie is all right. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for asking. You're welcome. How are you doing? I'm doing good. This is the last work week before I go on my big trip to Japan. I've been mostly doing Japan vacation prep stuff today, but I wanted to make sure to get some other stuff done. So I'm here to live stream again, and so here is my stuff. A Blackwing pencil that is not part of my ink kit that I got from the Inktober retreat last year. Pretty much everything else is, including this sketchbook that we'll be using. Oh, Exie, how are you? Anything new? I mean, I know you said you're all right, but anything new going on? Did you have a fun weekend? This is a kit of mild liner markers and what do they call them? Sarasa fine liners. I use this one a lot because it's a black one. I like using the black ink the most for Inktober stuff. So this is another thing that I'm using this year for this challenge. And then these 2 pens are both brush pens. This end is the same, exactly the same, but on this red one, it has a smaller brush pen on it. So these 2 are they were also part of the retreat kit that we got last year. Here's a sharpener for this pencil. Did not come with the kit, but I have it there for when I want to sharpen my pencil. Okay, that's everything out of here. So I'm gonna set this over to the side. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip. I'm drinking this yummy, I don't want to spill it because it's really full, but it's this Move Coca-Cola. It's a limited edition, and it's like coconut flavored or something. It's very yummy. It doesn't say what the flavor is, but I know it's coconut because my husband's the one who found it, and he was like, yay, and then we were going to try it, and then he hates coconut, so he was like, it's terrible. So that's how we know for sure it's a coconut flavor, even though it doesn't say what flavor it's supposed to be. Okay, so flipping over to, this was last week's. Okay. Oh wow, this must mean that we are right in the middle of a register of pages because you can see the threads, so that means you're in the middle. Because a register is 4 sheets and then it's folded in half, and that becomes 8 pages. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. See? So, oh, it's not, you can't see because it's, although it's so far away, but here is the previous middle of the register. Anyway, that's some cool book stuff that I learned researching books in my university days, getting my illustration education. Okay, so the prompt today is botany, which is specifically the study of plants. Oh, this is a perfect prompt for Exie. Oh, Exie has a new message. It was alright. I mean, it's alright now. It was like a roller coaster. It seems like we're in the happy side at the moment. Oh, good. It's about politics, so I don't want to bore you with the details. Yeah, it's so tough. I know, and it's not even necessarily just boring, but it'll be like frustrating, and so politics is so big, and how much can a single person do, and everything, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, I'm glad to hear that you're feeling better. It sucks that you had any down times. So it's like roller coaster. The scary part. At least it's good. It seems like it's not so bad right now, whatever is going on. So I'm glad to hear that. But yeah, I also understand, like, yeah. And like, I just try not to get too... I do what I can, what I have the power to do something, then I do it, but also try not to focus on how powerless I feel for a lot of things. Because it doesn't help anything. It doesn't give me power to feel powerless, so... Oh yeah, so this is like the perfect, this is the perfect, what am I trying to say? This is a perfect prompt for Exie, because Exie was looking into botany. And so I looked up the word to be sure the meaning. Botany is specifically the study of plants. There was one odd meaning where it's a type of wool from sheep. But I was like, I'm not going to do something like that. I don't know how to... I don't want to think too hard about it. Inktober is mostly technical practice for me. So I was like, okay, how can I do... My theme is griffins. How can I do that with botany? So I took my favorite flower. Well, it's my favorite flower for the scent, and that's lilacs. And I have a reference image. So that's what I'm sketching right now, is the lilacs. A couple of big blooms of the, they come in like all these flowers on this big thing. And then I'm going to have a griffin. Well, you won't see the whole griffin part, but it'll be the head and then a magnifying glass. And it's looking at this. So that's my idea for this. Oh, neat. Oh, I'm building a plant shelf. I draw it and calculate what I need and how much wood I'll use. Ooh. So what are you going to use it for? Is it going to be inside or is it going to be outside? Like, because there's so many things you could do. That's cool though. I have been thinking, I'm not that great with plants actually. It's hard for me to keep them alive. I don't know what it is. But I love having plants around. So I've been thinking that I want more plants. There's this thing I looked at online. It's that they'll deliver a pet-friendly, they call it a pet-friendly jungle. I think I've talked about this before. But they'll deliver the pet-friendly jungle to your house. So of course, since it's jungle, it's like the most expensive one. But then your house would just be full. I think it was like 2 large plants, 3 medium, or maybe it was like, well, anyway, it was a whole bunch of plants. And that's what I need. Because I'm so worried about getting plants that my pets will eat and then it will hurt them. So just order the pet-friendly jungle and I don't have to think about it. That's like on my wish list, I guess. Pet-friendly jungle for houseplants. We've got lots of plants outside, including lilacs. I was so happy when I moved to this house because they already had lilacs, which is my favorite. I love in the spring when they bloom and it just smells so good and you could just be outside and it's the best. I'm really looking forward to that time. It's coming soon. That time of year is almost here. was probably why that's the first thing I thought of when I was like, okay, what plant will the gryphon be studying? How about a lilac? Looks like each of these little flowers has 4 petals. It's hard to tell because there's so many of them. 1, 2, 3, or maybe 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it depends. Some of them, it really looks like 4. But I guess it doesn't matter too much because the overall effect will be the same whether they have 4 or 5 petals. Ooh, I'm gonna go and buy them this Wednesday. Ooh, neat. Are you gonna post a picture when it's done, like on Twitter? It's gonna be in my room. I don't have much light in my room except for one in the ceiling. It'll be part of the decoration. Oh, that'll be really nice. About how big do you think you're gonna make it? Like covering a whole wall, or just like a little small one for like a couple different plants? Okay, so in order to make sense of this, I'm gonna just start with drawing little circles, and then I'll fill each circle in with a flower. So right now it kind of looks like grapes instead of flowers, but once I get the petals on, then it'll look more like what I'm thinking. And then this one's coming down this way. Okay, good. And then we've got a little bit showing behind all these leaves. And we just need a few more leaves coming in from off camera, off the page. Maybe I've been watching a little too much movies off camera. And then, okay, and this is a leaf here too. Okay, kind of hard to remember what everything is that I'm sketching, but it looks like there's one little leaf that you can see sort of in the background coming over from the back, like that. There, I like that. That'll be good enough. I'll just draw a little stem showing that it's still growing up. This is just a really close-up picture of the lilac. Oh, 130 centimeters high, 80 centimeters wide, 30 centimeters depth. That's pretty good size. Yeah. 51.2 high. Oh, yeah. I think that's, I can't remember how tall I am. That's pretty tall. 31 wide, 12 deep. Wait. I at least have. So 12 deep is this, let's see, it's about this big. So almost the whole, it's going to be almost as deep as my whole top to bottom streaming area. I won't be able to do the 51.2. But 31, oh yeah, cannot even fit 31 because this is an 18-inch. That's a pretty good size. How long do you think so you're getting this stuff on Wednesday. How long do you think it'll take you to build it? Have you ever built something like that before? I definitely haven't. Well, no, that's not true. Because I have done, and to be honest, I hated it. I have built my own canvas stretchers for one of my painting classes in college. And so I've cut the wood to right angle and then measure and then put them, like you measure first and then cut it and then blah, 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 and then you got like little things in there to, if it's really big, you have to put these extra things. It's been so long and I really hated doing it, so I don't remember the names of stuff, but it's like the outside, and those are all like a 45-degree angle so that you get that 90-degree right angle, And then you can put these like support things in like this, or you can do like this on, and then you stretch the canvas and you staple it onto the back. So I've sort of done that because we had to, it was a requirement to do a pretty big like a pretty big image that you have, that you had stretched the canvas yourself. So that was all part of the grading, was like, can you stretch the canvas? Did you do a good job of it? And then also, what is the painting that you did on it? And that's all for oil paints and acrylics. I prefer watercolors so much. But anyway, I do have a little bit of experience with building stuff. I assume you're gonna make it. Did you say? Oh yeah, you said that you'll use wood. Are you gonna stain it and stuff too? Lexi says, I made chairs, but they were IKEA, so everything was already instructions. Oh yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff like that, especially my bookshelves, because I have way too many books. No, I have a great amount of books. I like my books, but I need so many bookshelves. Everything already in the instructions, holes for screws are there. I've never done anything with the raw material. Oh, I see. I'm hopeful though, I think I got it. Yeah, there's a saying, measure twice, cut once. And it's so true, because we've had that problem with little home improvement projects, and we didn't measure twice first, and then we cut, and then it's like, oh, crap, it's too short. And you can if you cut it too long, you can always keep cutting it, but if you cut it too short, you might have to just start over. So anyway, I believe in that saying. Measure twice, cut once. Okay, so I've got the basic line to indicate where this eagle's head is. I just searched eagle, and of course the first thing that came up was a bald eagle, so I'm just doing a bald eagle. Because since this magnifying glass is going to be making the eye very, very big, I mean I want it to do that like comically big thing. That's the idea I had. I didn't want to just draw a random eye. I wanted to have an actual reference image because it's going to be a nice big close-up. And I've also looked up, what does it look like, pictures of people holding a magnifying glass up. And basically, it covers anything else. So like if the nose is here, you won't see the nose, because all it is the eye is filling this up. So it's actually pretty easy to get that magnifying glass effect in a drawing. Okay, now I gotta switch over to my magnifying glass reference. It's not that difficult, but I just wanna see how the stem, how the handle is attached to the glass in this reference. Okay. Ooh, Chappie is snoring. Oh, yay! And that's cool, because if you're going to start it, so you're going to get the stuff on Wednesday, if you're going to start it pretty soon after that too, then I'll actually have a little bit more free time to like check Twitter and stuff, because I'll be on vacation. So I'll be able to see it, maybe I'll be too busy on vacation, but we'll see. Oh wow, that's a cool idea. Exie says, I even 3D modeled it to get my calculations right. I hope I won't mess it up. That's cool. That is a really good use of the 3D modeling technology. Yeah, that is a good idea. Just see what it'll look like. Because sometimes that's pretty hard to visualize something, and you think you know, and then you build it. Even if it's just like an IKEA type thing that's already measured and stuff, you just have to put it together, but then you put it together and you're like, dang, this is way bigger than I thought. I don't know if it's going to get through the door or something. Okay. This magnifying glass is not going to be a perfect circle, but that's okay. The magnifying glass is not really the point. It's just it's a tool, not just in the illustration, but it's a tool of the visual language of telling a story. Okay, so now I'm ready to fill this up with, and let me zoom in on this bird's eye. I'm just going to draw really big, so it's got this sort of, looks like an eyebrow, but I guess it's just a ridge, an eye ridge of feathers, and then it comes out like that too. And then the eye is like this. It's almost a perfect circle, but the bottom eyelid sticks out just a little bit right here. So the back is pretty round. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Ooh, I'm gonna make this bigger. I want it even bigger. I want it like comically big. Not that I'm trying to make a comedy scene, but that's what I want. I want there to be no mistake that this is a magnifying glass. A powerful one. Okay, I have to swipe these into the trash can. There. When I was a kid, I didn't care that much. I would just swipe everything on the ground. But then when I grew up and I had to do my own cleaning, and I was like, oh no, this is horrible. And like walking on it, and then there's little eraser things all over my socks or whatever, so. Oh, thank you very much. It's looking amazing so far. I love the lilac. Yay, and I didn't even draw the flowers yet. So this looks like grapes. Okay, I'm gonna make the eyeball this big. Yeah, this one, I'm really happy with this. It always works. I mean, I haven't even finished anything yet, but it always works so well for me. I'm always the happiest when I'm able to look up some reference images and put something together based on reality. I'm just so much more satisfied. I mean, it is fun to just draw stuff random from imagination, but my favorite stuff that I've created for myself is always based on reference. Today I was actually on top of stuff and had time to look up a reference instead of just make it all up. Okay, and then, so there's a highlight in the eye like this, and I'm going to just draw it so that I remember not to ink right there. Oh, my laundry is done. That's what that beep beep is. Okay, and then the feathers are coming back like this. And then it just kind of becomes beak, so there's not really much feathers here. So I won't even draw anything there. Okay, and then this should be in front of the magnifying glass. And this is the pupil, so I'm just gonna shade it in right now so that I remember when I'm inking. And then there's a black ring around the whole eye. Okay, that's probably good. But Exie, what kind of plants do you want to put on your shelf when it's made? Do you already have them and you just like wanted a better place for them, or you have an idea of what you want once it's built? Maybe you said that? I don't remember. If I don't have to take care of them, of course I like plants that have flowers the best. But I also like plants with like really big leaves and with really like interesting like color, like there's multiple colors on one leaf and stuff like that. Okay, now I'm ready to bring up I got a reference image of eagle just standing so that I could see its feet. Of course, I'm going to have to use my imagination to get it to hold. I tried to find a reference image, a large one, so I could see the details of an eagle holding, but there were none where it was really close up. There was always the whole eagle, and so it was like the foot was like this big, so you couldn't really tell, but I think it's mostly, okay, so there's like no pinky. There's 3 front ones and then a back one. And I think it's mostly like this. So I think it's mostly like a human hand would be holding. So say this is the magnifying glass. It's just that the thumb isn't off to the side. The thumb comes out straight out the back, almost. So that's what I'm keeping in mind. And then no pinky. So pretend there's no pinky. So this is kind of what it should look like. Okay. Although it should be opposite, because I'm imagining this hand on this side. So it should be this hand. So like this. Ignore this pinky. Okay. But it would be this side because of, I'm not just explaining to explain to anybody watching, but I'm explaining it to myself as well. So it's like that. Okay. Oh, and Exie says, I have so many plants. I don't want to put them there. Ah. So even though they will have their own light right above them, won't be enough for Mary. Aha. Ah. Ah, ferns are so cool. I'm planning to have ferns and mosses mostly. And plants, those don't need much light. Yeah. Ferns. I learned in my biology class that ferns are super cool because they use they use as if they choose it, but their reproductive system is not the same as, so just sort of assumed, I guess, my whole life, like if it's a plant, it has a seed, but ferns have an older, more ancient, like it evolved before seeds evolved. I can't remember what it was, but it's like on the back of the fronds, there's these little things, and they're not seeds, they're something else. I can't remember anything about it, but I just remembered that it was super cool that I never thought, there could be a different way that plants reproduce. And so ever since then, I have like really loved ferns, just because I think that's very cool and different. I don't know, because they blew my mind, I guess, is why I love them. Okay, there's actually not much visible as far as the knuckles go on this. It's like this middle finger you can kind of see the knuckle, but the other ones, it's actually the pads on the bottom that are more visible on the eagle's foot. But since those will be wrapped around, we're not really going to see them. So I think that this is actually... So I think the only thing is the claw from the back talon, I think, might be visible. So that's what I'm going to just draw that there. And now they've got these cool little like armory like stripes of like leathery skin. And they do go all the way across the knuckles and everything. Oh, and these are nice because you can get the sense of it curving around by making it shorter, the distance between each one, because as it curves around, that's just what would happen visually. Okay, and then as it gets up here towards this part of the hand, well, I mean, it's not a hand. The reference image is a foot. for this griffin. It's a hand. And instead of having these like little lines across, it's just like these big wrinkles with almost like scales. Let's see, I'll just have the end of the magnifying glass handle poking out here. Okay, and here, so I've sort of got these two apart a little bit, these two fingers. There, that's good enough. Without actually seeing a griffin holding a thingy, that's good enough. Okay, so now back to my reference of a bald eagle's head. I was going to take a sip of my drink. So good. So this bald eagle, I'm not sure why, it's very fluffy. Its feathers are, maybe it's relatively young, or it, oh yeah, maybe it just took a bath, because there's actually seems to be little, like little white things that might be drops of water on it. Either way, it gives it a nice texture. So try to approximate that. Okay, and then over here they're not that big as the head curves around. And you can sort of see them. It's all over the head as it comes from the front of the head over. The feathers just evenly cover the head that way. Okay, so now I got to think about where the eyes, and I think the beak would be right about here, so I'm going to draw that. It's got this nice long, the tip of the beak is like very elegant. And then the bottom part, so there's a very long, I don't know, the tip of the beak is very long, the front. And then the back sort of comes in like this. They don't meet at the tip. It's probably so the beak can hook in and then grab on like this. Maybe like, well, I can't do it with a hand, but. Okay, and then this stuff is all covering everything else, so we can't see that. But we'll continue these spiky looking feathers. Okay, and if the head is coming down this way, come out like this. Oh, okay, see you in a second. Actually says, be back in a minute. Okay. Then you can see right about where the end of the beak hits. You can see the shoulder dark feathers. So let's just add that in. Okay, back to, and how are we on time? Oh, we're about halfway through. Well, that's good, because all I need to do now is draw these lilac flowers. Maybe I'll just go ahead and do it with ink and not draw it and then draw it again, because if I draw it with pencil and then I draw it again with the ink, it's just going to take too long. So we'll call the pencil done. Yay! Trying to lining this up with this so it doesn't roll. Okay, set that off to the side. So, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to ink with... So I'm thinking about making sure this looks like it's closer. And a big way you can do that with ink is with thicker lines. The thicker thing will seem like it's closer to the viewer. So... yeah, I'll use this one. These ends are the same on these two pens, so I had decided at the beginning that this one, which only has the medium, it says medium size on here, is for filling in, so I'll use it like on this pupil and stuff. And then this is for lining. At least until it runs out, I guess. Okay, so I'm going to use this biggest end for the lilacs so that they seem like they're really close to the viewer. And I love drawing plants because even if you don't, what am I trying to say? So like plants versus drawing architecture, or especially drawing like a car or something, there's a lot of room for, oh, my hand like slipped for some reason and then there's a little whoop on your line, but it doesn't matter because it's an organic thing. How to get another sip of my delicious drink. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a very simplified version of what I'm seeing, which is there's a little sort of dot in the middle and then 4 or 5 petals growing out from that. And I'll try to get so that they're not all facing straight forward. Try to get some of like a little this way, a little this way. Or some are having their petals pushed by the neighboring one or whatever. Oh, thank you. Lexi says it looks beautiful. Thank you very much. I love lilacs. They're just so, like, I love them because they smell so good to me, but I also think that they're very pretty flowers. I love going out. I don't plan on it, but I almost always end up going out and just taking a selfie with my flowers behind me when they're in bloom every spring. And even though they're kind of an overwhelming flower to think about drawing, they are surprisingly easy because you can kind of fudge it a little bit and you don't have to do a photorealistic version. If you're just getting the overall the feeling, if you can capture the feeling of it, then you don't have to do an exact perfect replication of it. Okay, so this part's a little confusing. I'm trying to make sense of what I'm seeing and what I sketched. I think I got it though. And then what was this? Oh, this is another leaf that's right behind it. Okay. And there's these little veins growing out. you can see some on this one too, even though it's the underside of the leaf. Sometimes it seems like they're not as visible on the other underside. Okay, now here, so I'll draw. This is kind of confusing here. The flowers are on top of this leaf, but this leaf is on top of these flowers, which are on top of this leaf. So I should work from this way to this way. I just determined that just this second as I was explaining. Let's see. Another thing that's nice about the way I have been approaching these Inktober drawings is that since I'm leaving the pencil sketches in, they actually help the overall drawing, especially with something like this where just having a bunch of busyness is actually helping with the look of the flowers. So like the graphite lines are adding, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like the graphite lines don't need to disappear. They can actually help too. They can help in the final piece, not just in setting it up. Like, okay, it's like when there's scaffolding to build something and then the scaffolding is taken away. A lot of the times that's how I use the pencil, as it's just scaffolding and it's meant to go away eventually, but not here, not in these drawings. I decided to keep it and it's helping quite a bit in some of them. Oh, actually says there was a kindergarten my little brother used to go to, and because both my parents were working, I'd go there after school, wait until one of my parents came and took us. There were so many lilacs in the garden. I think I only saw lilacs there. That's well, I don't know if it is, but I feel like that's a nice memory. Or at least that's interesting that lilacs are tied specifically to a certain time in your life and a certain place. So I guess since you saw them, were they as fragrant as what I think of lilacs? Because I know there's a lot of different kinds of lilacs. I found that out when I was trying to figure out what this plant was in my backyard, and it was a little small one. And it smelled really good, and I was like, dang, what is this plant? It turns out that it's another kind of lilac, but it is so tiny that I didn't think it was. And that's when I found out that there's a whole bunch of different kinds of lilacs out there, and I just had no idea because I'm not a big plant person, so I've never looked into it. So I wonder if all lilacs smell really nice and like, I mean, maybe they don't smell nice to everybody, but they sure smell nice to me. I love the smell of that little small plant that we have. And then the big ones that we have like 4 or 5 like trees or bushes that are like this kind. Okay, now we can see. Wait. Okay. So let me draw a few little finishing there. And then this leaf can come through here. And now we can see a few petals in like behind these leaves. And then there's another leaf that is behind these petals. I'm actually deviating from my sketch a little bit because I see that I drew it different. And then here's some more petals from the next bunch. Okay, that's good. Now I'm just kind of looking for any gaps where it looks like another little extra line might help. But I think that's good. And then now that I have drawn this, I can draw this line because I know where it's coming from. Oh, I wonder if it was... There's another flower that yeah, like makes the like perfectly round like this. There's another flower that does that. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, and I love those. And I feel like they're in Japan a lot. Not that I've actually seen them a lot in Japan, but they like show up in anime a lot. So I wonder if it was one of those. Okay, I am going to do one more thing to help this foreground object, which is this whole plant, really stand out in the foreground, which is give it that nice big outline that I always like to do on my chibis. It's gonna be useful here too, I think. Because I really want this to look like it's well in front of this gryphon. And also, I want to differentiate a little bit between this bunch and this bunch. They are right next to each other, so not a ton, but just a little tiny. Just go in there like that. There. And Googling anime flowers. Oh, I found the flower. You were right. I wish I could remember what they're called because I tried to plant some at my previous house. They were carried at the home improvement store locally, so I was like, oh, they should grow here. No, it turns out that they really need a humid environment. I'm like, why are they even selling them here? Because this is not a humid place at all. It is a desert environment. This is not the place for these plants. And they didn't make it. Oh, that's it. Hydrangea. Hydrangea. Yeah, I think those are so beautiful. Oh, you gave me goosebumps. That was exciting. Yeah, I tried to plant some. It didn't work. That's why plants are so hard for me. They require such care. And it's not their fault. I'm like, I don't hate them or anything, but it makes it hard for me, that's all. Okay, I'm going to help these leaves stand out in front of the flowers a little more by doing the same thing here too. Thicker and darker lines. These couple especially are clearly in front. Like this one is touching and this one is touching, but these ones are out in front of the flowers. So the black lines, the thicker and heavier the line, the more in front it will seem, if everything else is equal. There, I think that's good. Wow, it looks like I looked up at my camera over here. It doesn't look like this to me, seeing all the details and like the sketchy lines and stuff, but when I look over there on my monitor, it's like, oh, it looks like a coloring page, like a coloring book page. That's cool. Oh, okay. So it actually says, this is the flowers we've been talking about. I've never seen a lilac. Well, now you sort of have. You've seen my drawing of it. But it is very similar though. The way the flowers grow in like little like clumps. But so like hydrangeas have like those lovely, you know, like you said, like perfect, like a perfect sphere. These ones are more like cones. Like they grow like out like, yeah, out like that. And then some will grow up, but then if they get too heavy, they'll sort of bend down a little bit. Okay, so now let us ink. So I'm going to use a smaller end. I used the big end on this, so now I'm going to use the small end for the magnifying glass and the hand. I'll just use it for all of the stuff. It's not going to, I don't think the magnifying glass will be that far away from the eagle's face. And then I had the end of the magnifying glass coming out. And it's nice, you don't have to ink every little thing, just enough to make it, to get the visual point across. That's something that I learned in my experiences. First, just drawing fan art and just like everything that I've been doing. And for the longest time, I would feel like, oh, I have to draw every little thing, but it actually works against you, especially when you're doing illustration, to draw too much. Because with illustration, it's more like telling a visual story or just getting the gist of something. But if you're so focused on the detail, then it just becomes more like fine art. I mean, illustration can be fine art too, but okay. Doing my best to make not a perfect circle, but just a nice, close enough kind of circle. Yeah, that's close enough. And then we'll draw the inside line. Show that this is some sort of frame holding the glass. And then I like to leave the lines broken on purpose so that it looks like a little light is glinting off of the material. And then I'm gonna switch to my, okay. So I'm going to just draw like a little circle thing to show that this is glass. So there's some light hitting the glass too, not just hitting the eye. And these were meant to be highlights, so I'm even gonna ink them and just gonna go ahead and protect them with the ink. Okay, now I need my bird's face again. Okay. Okay, and switch to my filling in stuff pen. There's a pretty dark bit here where the eyelid has gone into the head, and then the pupil, of course, is all black because pupil is just literally a hole in the eye where the light goes in. Let's see, how are we on time? Woo, I gotta hurry. Though I am really close to done. Mostly just need to, after I finish the eye here, just do some quick swipes to fill in the head with those spiky feathers that this bird has got going on. Might finish exactly on time. Then there's not too many little things in the colored part, the iris part, but there's a little tiny bit of flecks that you can see, so yeah, add those in there. Anything else in here? I don't think so. I'm going to make this, or the rim of the magnifying glass. Oh, I gotta be careful. The ink. That's so much ink that it's not drying as fast as everything else. I just want to make this magnifying glass stand out a little bit more by giving it some darker lines. But I'm not filling it in as much because I don't want it to be as dark as the pupil. I want the pupil to be the darkest thing. And that's both because since it's just a hole in the eye, that's just gonna be the darkest thing. But then also because I want the attention on the eye more than anything else. Okay, so that's good. Now just doing the beaky. Oh, I forgot about this leaf right here. Boop. Oh, switch back to my other pen. There. And beaky. Boop. And then the bottom part of the beaky. There. And now just, so might actually be better if I do it this way. Okay, so the story I'm gonna tell myself, like, why is this bird wet? Well, why is this griffin? It's supposed to be griffin, but all I can draw is the head, so it just looks like a bird, but why is a griffin wet? Well, it's because it's spring, so it was raining. Maybe it is raining, and that's why this griffin is wet. That's the story I just made up. Maybe it's studying something specifically about how the plants react immediately after rain, and that's why it's out in the rain studying instead of waiting for it to clear up. Yep, that's the story. I just made it up. Just made it up just now. Okay, let's switch back to the lilac. Okay, yeah, this leaf in the reference picture is kind of blurry because it's farther back than the other ones. This is going to do something like that. And then I do want to add just a little bit of hatching to give some more depth to these leaves and things here, because this is like open sky. Well, it's not open sky, but it's way off in the background. There's like a lot of atmosphere here, but this is still part of the plant and there's a lot of shade and stuff. So I want to show that. Just adding a little bit of hatching. I don't even have to do too much. Okay, and then the last thing is this shoulder. Since it's a bald eagle, it's pretty dark. So I'm just going to do rows of ink to get the idea of feathers. There. That's good. Then I will just do one final outline of this, because it's kind of getting lost a little bit. The hand is getting lost a little bit. Ooh, and I keep thinking of things to do, but I think it'll be the last thing. I'm gonna color. I'm gonna do some hatching on this talon because the talons are black, so I don't want to color it all the way in because it's shiny. Maybe we'll put a little in here too. Oh, Aoife is snoring now. That's Aoife, if you're hearing that. Yay! Yeah, I think that's good. Ooh, yes, thank you. That's exactly what I was, yes. So Exie says, remembered the word, suggesting, the thing you're saying about not drawing every fine detail, but suggesting the details. Yes. Oh, thank you. Exie says it's not good, it's perfect. Yay! Thank you very much. Okay, I am going to, and this is great. I'm only 2 minutes over. So let's write. Okay, how am I doing this? Inktober52. And this one was what was it? Oh, I can't even remember. Botany. And then I think I'm just writing the date, right? Yes. Watch. We'll get all the way into the last week of December, and I'm still going to have to look this up. Okay, it's the 6th of March, 2023. I guess I'll hold it up a little bit before I sign off. I realized just now that I did not hold it up at all. Is it focused? Well, it is now for sure. So this is the, yeah, you can see much more how rough it is, but then it comes together. So that's so nice. That's something really fun about visual art, I think, is it can be really rough in the details, but then the overall experience of the image is totally different. Yay! Okay, well, that will be it for today. Let's see, so this is my last week before I'll be gone for 4 weeks, but I'm doing all my normal streams, so I'll be back on Wednesday for a lucky dip. Oh, hopefully I'll see you then. But either way, I had a great time chatting with you, Exie, as usual, so thank you very much. And for everybody watching right now, thank you for watching!